Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. This one is actually on the kitchen table. It's been a little while since we filmed one here. Well, I take it back. I just played Tyranids on this kitchen table, so I guess it hasn't been a little while. I have lied. Today we're having a rematch, sort of, with my Drukhari versus Wesley's Genestealer Cult. The last game, if you watched, went down to like time expiring on us because we had to both be other places, and it came down to a 2-point, one way or the other. We don't really know who would have won. It was wild, it was fun, it was crazy. So we're trying it again. I've played in an RTT. I've played a couple of games with Drukhari since then, so I've tweaked the list a bit. So here's what I have. I'm gonna be running a battalion of Ynnari. I've gone back and forth on this, but here's my reasoning. The Ynnari, with their fight first as long as something has died thing, kind of came in big in a couple of games recently. So I'm putting all my witches into the Ynnari, putting the incubi in the Ynnari, because the incubi can also spend 2 command points and reroll all wounds. They don't get that in any other detachments or Drukhari shenaniganizing lists. So that's the thinking behind that. I have an Archon. Also in this, the Archon has the, I think it's called Walker Mini Paths. It lets us regen a command point on a 5-up that we spend. The Hungering Blade, which just does more damage in combat if he ends up in combat. So that could be handy. The Incarn, of course, is in this Ynnari battalion. I've got 5 jet bikes, the Reavers. They're pretty tasty. I've got a 7 witch blob here with a shard net, agonizer, and blast pistol on the succubus, or the hecatrix. Then I've got 5 witches, shard net. And they just have the blast pistols. I believe that Hecatrix has a power sword. I might have the wrong model, but that's what they have. Then I have the 5 Cavalite Warriors. There's a shredder back there, and then other ones I'll just have the splinter rifles. I'm also trying these guys out. These are my new toy. Played them yesterday against the Tyranids, and they actually did more work than I expected. So 5 Hellions, the Heliarch, I think he's called, has the agonizer and a splinter pistol. Then I have the 2 Reapers. Yes, I'm running the Reapers in my Ynnari battalion. The reason being, their output is really potentially phenomenal. However, every time I've run them and tried to use the 2d6 blast profile against horde armies, I've always rolled 1s and 2s. So I'm running an Archon. Gives me the reroll 1s. Will impact the Reapers. It might make them more reliable output wise. It is my hope. I don't know, because this also might seem funny to others, because this patrol is all Dark Technomancer. So I'm running 2 Reapers, but I'm not taking them as Dark Technomancer. In the patrol, I have a Homunculus. I have Drazar, the Master of Blades, because yes, I'm giving Drazar is the Warlord actually. So the Archon has the 1 CP to have a Ynnari Warlord trait. Drazar is the actual Warlord, so rerolling wounds. And his 6 inches buff to +1 to wound on the incubi still goes off, even if he's in a different patrol, because it doesn't matter with him. He's outside the rules, I guess. I've got 5 racks, running 1 with a liquefier gun, and the big boy rack has the hex rifle, so we'll see. Liquefier gun and Dark Techno, I've seen it do a lot of work. I haven't tried it yet, so I figured I would give it a whirl today. 3 Venoms and 2 Talos. So that is it. Comes out to 1998 points. So there's some room to finagle. There's probably some things that, after this game again, I'm probably going to be upset about. But I feel like this list has some good anti-horde, has some good anti-vehicle, has some good combat. I don't know, we'll see. The Venoms can put out a lot of shots if they're still on the board. So we're going to play around with this. We're going to see how it goes. I'm pretty curious. The sheer number of bodies coming in from the Genestealer Cult is horrendous. And in the last game, it was a very much punch first and try to survive tactic from the Drukhari. I'm not entirely sure that would work every time. So we're going to see if that's the best call or not in this game. So there you have it. This is my Drukhari, Ynnari, probably should just call this a Ynnari list because of points. So that's it, 1998. We'll be back in just a minute to look at the Genestealer Cults. All right, folks, here's the Genestealer Cult. Wesley's actually running the same list, which proved incredibly good against my Drukhari last time. So he's going to run through this. It is Cult of the Bladed Cog. Yep. So yeah, and I understand the shenanigans now, but it's still going to be a problem. So why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so again for HQs, we got our leader, the Aberrant, with his Natural Born Survivor Warlord trait and the Mark of the Claw Messiah.
I did not like that.
So he reduces all damage by 2, and then he's got 3 of Benvol, and he naturally regains D3 wounds. It's awesome.
No.
For my second relic, because I did pay the extra points to get additional relics, my guy here, my Acolyte Icon Ward, has the Cult of the Icon Ascendant, and then I have a Magus with Unnatural Vigor and Might from Beyond, I believe was who I took. And then for troops, I have a standard 5-man unit of Aberrants, Acolyte Hybrids with Hand Flamers.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Things.
Yeah.
Then I have 2 units of Acolyte Hybrids, 2 with Drills, both with Cult Icons and Hand Flamers. Then I got 2 units of Acolyte Hybrids, 2 with Demo Charges and Hand Flamers.
Demo charges are tasty.
Yes.
Can confirm.
It is a one-time use grenade that hits like a las cannon. And then for the other troops, I have a 10-man squad with 2 mining lasers, 2 grenade launchers. Then I have a 10-man squad with no upgrades. The banner's out there. He likes to have a stick in his hand.
He just has to carry a stick.
Of course.
Walks off to carry a big stick.
That's how I mark my sergeants.
There you go.
And then the last squad is a 15-man squad with the same upgrade as the first. So 2 mining lasers, 2 grenade launchers.
I'm not a fan of, what was it, not the mining lasers, the rock saws or rock drills?
The rock drills, that's from
those guys. Those are not cool. I was stunned at how they just keep doing the mortal wounds because they're just drilling holes in you and killed characters like they were not there. Yeah. I was really offended.
Then for elites, I got the 5-man squad of the Aberrants.
Yes.
Sorry, that's the Abominant, not the Aberrant. Yeah. The Aberrants there. Then I have a Locust, no upgrades, and then the Sanctus back here with his Silencer Sniper Rifle. He does have the Gift from Beyond Relic, which allows him to get a +2 to wound, but nowadays anything can be adjusted to 1.
Right.
So.
It's kind of fun.
For heavy sport, we have 2 Brew Brothers heavy weapons teams. One with 3 auto cannons, one with 2 auto cannons, 1 missile launcher. And then our standard Colt Lemerus, that was the MVP from last time.
Yeah, he was a champ. He
and
refused to go down.
We have 2 Atlan Jackal squads with Wolf squads. Both have Atlan incinerators, and they both are taking the extra auto pistol, so they basically have 2 pistols, other fun stuff. One squad has the leader with an auto gun, 2 guys with shotguns, and 1 guy with grenade launcher, and they will have cultist knives. The other squad, the leader has a bolt pistol. The other 3 have auto pistols, and the 4 on bikes are taking demo charges. And then we have our 2 Achilles Ridge Runners in the back with heavy mining laser, flare launcher.
Cool beans. Yes, this was an impressive list, and all of the deep striking and ambushing, underground, whatever, played a big role in the game last time too. And if you haven't heard recently, this type of list, this kind of similar style with a lot of bodies, a lot of just damage output, even if they don't have the best saves, there's so many of them. In my game against him last time, it proved to be a big deal, and there's a list similar to this that went really far into GT recently. And it's just one of those things that we don't plan to kill 100 bodies anymore in 9th edition, and this is one of those that says, okay, I see your plan and I foil you. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really interesting to see how this goes again today. I don't know. So we'll be back in a minute. We're gonna get the rest of the board set up. You can see the board in the background here. We're kind of going with an alien planet. It was all dusty and dry with these rock things, and then there's some Imperials that decided to make a home here because why not? The cluster of rock trees in the middle is a cluster of trees, so you get a forest out of that, and we've got obscuring things in each of the sides. I will point out these arch kind of deals here on the side they have a hole in them. So that you can see through that. We're going to call that dents if you're on the other side and have line of sight, but otherwise it's obscuring because they're 5 inches tall. So that's going to be the board. We'll get the mission and all that stuff done here in a minute, and we'll be back. Folks, we have deployed. Wesley chose to be the defender because narratively it is kind of fun to have, the underground, under whatever ambush being sprung. They were happy. Look at all the Genestealer blips. They were happy in this world, left well enough alone by the Imperium, and then the Drukhari came. We're looking for some slaves. We're looking for some experimental things. We're looking to just slice and dice and have lots of fun. So these are the 2 deployment zones. If you're familiar with the Grand Tournament pack, I forgot what it was called. We're playing Overrun, so nice shot at the floor there, and a paint stain on it, but it's not mine. I'm proud of myself. So Overrun, you've got these really narrow 8-inch deployment zones on either side of the board. You've got 6 objective markers, so there's one here in their mirror image. There's one underneath the Incarn and one on this side, right there, and then it's the same for the other side of the board. So we're gonna have some fun. We're both took engage on all fronts. I'm taking mental interrogation. It's interesting. May or may not be any good with the Incarn. Might ruin some of my spells. I don't know. We'll see. And then the other one I tried is thin their ranks because there's so many bodies. But I do recall last game, there were still so many bodies at the end of the game, so it might not help me any. It just seems like something you should do with a horde of whatever's coming across the table at you. So who knows? And Wesley had engaged on all fronts. You had
Raise the banners.
Raise the banners, which is an obvious
grind
one.
them down.
Yeah, and grind them down because, he'll be killing stuff. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to grab a die and then we'll roll off to see who is going to be getting the first turn. Go ahead.
Hacha.
2. That's mighty. And a 4. That's mightier. I am going to go first because I have some things not in places I want them to be. Although, it's going to be weird. I might have to think about this because I'm going to have lots of blips to look at. I don't know. We'll be back in a minute and you'll find out who's going first. All right, folks, I did take turn 1. I think I left y'all hanging on that. Thought about it for a while, decided turn 1, going first would allow me to move some things. Like I had some little dudes, incubi and stuff back here that I felt were kind of exposed where they were, so I wanted to get them a chance to get out of the way. The witches moved into this building. My jet bikes moved their regular move and then charged into this guy. That was cool. Shooting wise, actually was pretty good. My Venoms all doing their overcharge, did some business. We just killed like a couple of dudes out of, there's a 5-man squad back there protecting characters. I think I killed 1. I tried to get 2, but I didn't. On this side though, this is where things were more exciting. So I killed all the heavy weapon teams with Venom, overcharged, and then the Talos overcharged as well. So the Talos killed 1 whole unit. And then the 2 Venoms combined to pick off the last unit, and 1 Hex Rifle picked off the last unit. So I was pleased. I didn't think that would happen, but getting rid of some of that firepower helped me. Then back here, my 2 Reapers, 1 Reaper popped one of the Ridge Runners by exactly the number of wounds I needed. If Wesley had made 1 more Feel No Pain, it wouldn't have worked. So that was good, and then I got him tied up. The other Reaper shot through all the dense terrain, all the mess, and shot into the Lehman Russ, and did take 5 wounds or 6, I don't remember.
6.
6.
Because he starts with 12.
Yes, that's correct. Some reason in my head I thought they had 11 wounds, and I was looking at the 6. Anyways, doesn't matter, neither here nor there. So we moved out, we've spread around, made some things a little trickier for him in his next turn, and then killed a lot of the heavy firepower, so potentially we'll weather the storm. Now we just got to see what happens with all those flamers and nastiness. So we'll be back at the end of Genestealer turn 1. Well, folks, Genestealer Cult turn 1 is over, and I'm very delighted to announce to you that I have things left on the board, because in the last game, it didn't go that way, but I did stunt things for him offensively with my shooting in the first turn. So Raiders are all still alive and well. I don't know why my phone is doing this, so you'll just have to forgive me there. There we go. It's actually the new toy, the gimbal. I like how that's, I don't know if I even say it right. These guys are still here. Reapers are still here because the Ridge Runner had to run away to be able to shoot another day. So he came around the corner, is just hiding back there. These guys moved up through the building, holding the objective. Lightning fast reactions did save lives today. So this jet bike squad is still alive. The lightning fast made a big difference. The Venom over here got super lucky. Was pretty wounded than his mining lasers from this squad. Shot it. One went through and only did 2 damage and was just enough to put him at 1 wound left. Then in combat, the Venom took another wound and I failed to save. And I command rerolled it and made it. So the Venom stays alive, which was a big deal for me. Did not expect it, but I'll take what I can get. Back here, raising the banners. The tank, he spent the command point to get on full profile. Shot at the Talos, and my Talos here went down to 2 wounds remaining. So did some business on that. Didn't quite kill him. And I think that's it. So starting to score some points, getting out onto the board, but I am this time around in a better place to try to control some things. So we'll see what happens after this turn. It's going to be a little interesting. We'll come in with Drukhari turn 2 next. All right, folks. It's going well for me, I have to say. I feel bad for Wesley's Genestealer Cult, but he's underestimating things a little, I think. But I have screened sort of well, and I've knocked down his banners except for 1. However, he does have like half his army still to come on the board. So as much as he keeps being sad, I think he's got plays to make. So it'll be interesting coming back after this turn. I only scored 10 on primary because it is one where you hold 2. For 5, 3 for 10, and then more for the 15. The end card did go over there. I couldn't charge that turn, so it might have been a mistake. Maybe should have waited a little bit, but we're going to see. And my Venom over here failed like a 4-inch charge with 2. I probably should have re-rolled it. I didn't. I tried to use the Power from Pain ability, and then Wesley caught me. Thank you, sir. I forgot that it was no Power from Pain on a vehicle, so that didn't work. The witches over here came from the building, advanced, and then used the 2 CP to still charge in the Ynnari detachment. So they made this charge with the shooting and different things combined. It worked pretty well to whittle that squad down. Over here, the Venom died. I used the supercharging, even though it had 1 wound, just because it was cheeky. And I killed a few bikes, and then my Cabalites killed some more, and my my Reaper killed a bunch more, I think. So we got that squad down. And that's where we stand. This Reaper popped the Lehman Russ. The Talos and everybody on this flank over here whittled down just a lot of the bodies that were left. So we've got a lot of things on the board. We're screening out a few areas, but there's still a few pockets I'm nervous about where he could probably drop some units. And of course he gets his crazy 3-inch whatever drop in and blow stuff up thing. That's going to be a problem. So we'll see what happens. This is pretty fun. This is where it's going to get really interesting. He'll get his turn 2 for Genestealer Cult, and things are going to get real spicy real fast. So yeah, that's where we're at. End of turn 2 for Drukhari, and gained a few points, and then we'll be back after Genestealer turn 2. End of Genestealer Cult turn 2. Things happened as anticipated. There was a bubble of space. It was like right there was perfectly between the witches and the incubi, which you'll see are not here anymore. It's very... The Incarn has a single wound left, survived the flaming, survived... what else was going on back there? There's flaming charges, Rockjaws, the Sanctus... I mean, not Rockjaws, Rock Drills.
And a smite. Super
smite. I don't know what happened there. And then he came in and just wiped my incubi. Of course, when they're not in combat, that's what happens to them. And so the Incarn popped up over here. So we're going to try to be sneaky with this. if you recall me saying I took mental interrogation, I was just telling Wesley I totally forgot he even had a psyker. So the one time I cast it on a 4 and he denied it. That happens every time I take mental interrogation. And with only one psyker, it's kind of silly. So I'm not even going to try to score that. Maybe later in the game if that's still alive, but yeah. So over here, I did do a good job screening. Proud of myself. So he didn't drop anything in that corner. Obviously, we already saw those guys came in, did their business, and it was pretty violent. He did get, what was it? You did a command point to get 2 more of these little
Cult reinforcements.
So they came back over here.
And then hypermetabolism on my Locust to get him back to full wounds.
Which is good because he would have died if he wasn't back at full wounds. These dudes actually failed their charge. They killed 2 bikes, I think, with the flamers, but then failed their charge. He ran away so that he could, continue to be a nuisance with his 2 wounds remaining. Bravely ran away. But Wesley has accomplished his goal now of trapping the bikes in combat, so I'm not running away with them. So that's probably not going to be a bad thing. And then we're back here. So, and these guys came in, did the demolition charge strat, took wounds off, and then I think the flamer did more work than the demolition charges.
By barely, yeah.
It was ridiculous. And the number of 5s and 6s we both rolled in this turn was bonkers. There's so many things that on a regular roll of, like if he rolled above average, and then I rolled above average, and it shouldn't have gone like that. So it's kind of weird. There's more stuff on the board than should be. But it's now very much a game for the Genestealer Cult, and it's one that I have to not lose now. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So we'll come back after Drukhari, turn 3. All right, folks. Drukhari turn 3 is done. We weathered some storms over here, so I had my Cabalites move over to the other side of the building to charge these guys without getting overwatch, so my Incarn could charge. We did all of those things, and the Incarn killed a bunch. The Cabalite did not. Well, I shot a bunch of them too, so... Well, actually, no. That group did not take many wounds. There were still 8, I think, during the combat phase when it started. So the Incarn killed all but 1 in its attack, so it killed 5. So that was nice for me, and then I came back down this direction. I had shot at and not done anything to this squad of jackals. Yes. So Drazar came in and did what Drazar does and killed them. So the Incarn came over here after doing its attacks, so I could try to stay alive a little longer with the Incarn. And I charged with the Reaper, so that I wouldn't take all the overwatch on Drazar from the bikes, and that worked out just fine for me. So the Reaper consolidated back towards this last remaining dude, making sure I still hold that objective. My witches over here tried really hard. The Hecatrix shot her fusion into the Ridge Runner. Didn't do anything because she missed. Then the Splinter Pistols at them, I think, didn't do anything either. Splinter Pistols into this dude, still didn't do anything. And then in combat, he got the better end of that deal, so I lost another bike from there. So then we come back here. The Talos, the green guy, was in range to shoot and kill the Ridge Runner. The black one shot and killed his sniper character person.
Sanctus.
This Venom popped up over here to be in the middle of everybody, killed his last 3... Oh, what were they? Were they the Neophytes or Acolytes?
Acolytes.
They were Acolytes, so killed the last 3 of them. Well, actually, no. There was still one there, but you passed a wound off from your Magos into the last guy to kill them off. So they're dead. And then I charged, and he countered, or heroically intervened. Over here, he tried to get me to charge my witches into his 5 flamer pistol boys, and I said, no thank you, I'll let them die in your turn. I tried to get the charge on the Venom. I rolled a 10. I needed an 11. It was so close. I was excited. And the reason there's only 5 of them left back there is my Reaper over here did shoot and kill a bunch of them with its not blast profile, the other one. So that's the end of my turn. Scored a bunch on primary. I was holding more. And we're engaged in fronts, and the Incarn that should have died on the last turn is still here, so I'm tickled about that. I'm gonna lose these witches for sure. There's not really a question of how long they'll last, but when they'll die. And then he still gets to bring in his scary Stompy Warlord, which I've hopefully screened out a little bit, but now there's a lot more holes because there's a lot of dead stuff over there. Nothing holding that down. So we'll be back after Genestealer's turn. turn 3, is that right? Turn 3?
Yes.
Yep, turn 3. All right, Genestealer turn 3 is over. It was significant as expected. The witches over here just evaporated into smoke and ashes. I made the Incarn come over, even on the 1 wound. Silly and foolish, you might say, but when the Incarn is saving everything in the world to keep alive on that 1 wound, it was really bad. I'm not gonna lie. I felt bad for Wesley actually after I made. I felt bad for him, not bad for me. It was bad. Flamers over here. These guys came in on the board edge. I thought for sure that I'd measured better than I did, but that's okay. You can't be perfect. So they flamed and took, I think maybe only a wound off the venom, but because there was only 1 guy shooting at that. No more Hellions. They didn't get to do a thing. I was kind of mad. Like I wanted them to at least shoot once, but whatever. Over here, the Incarn hits back. This was impressive. Kept alive on his 6-up invulnerable save. So 1 dude, and then he barely passed morale, but it doesn't matter. It's not a barely because he did. He did his thing. So he's still here. These dudes dropped in with auto pistols from Hades over there, shot everything into Drazar, and I lightning fasted him, so he only took like 2 wounds from that. And then my Reaper got charged. These are the Aberrants came in, Abominants hanging out on the corner. They made the charge into the Reaper, which they killed. So then it exploded. It was beautiful. I haven't had a Reaper blow up in so long. I was kind of proud. But then he did D3 for 3 on Drazar. Killed 1.5 Aberrants. Killed the, was it a Neophyte?
Acolyte.
That was an Acolyte. So killed the Acolyte and the Cabalite that were both in combat over here. So, I mean, you know, whatever. It did its business and it was horrendous. Over here, these guys flamed the witches to death. When you don't have anything more than a 6-up invulnerable save outside of combat, it's not surprising. This dude, thanks to Ynnari Strength from Death, got to hit first and finally killed, was that the Locust that was holding him down and beating them down? The Locust killed 4 out of those. Well, actually, I think he killed all the bikes.
Just about all.
Yeah, so the 4 that are gone were all from that 1 dude, and most of it was in combat. Oh yeah, and back here. These guys killed the Venom, and then I had my 3 racks got out. None of them died getting out. I was proud of them. But then they did kill another 2 in combat, and then he passed morale, so yay for him. So that's it. Wesley definitely came back, stole back a few objectives, killed a lot of my stuff out of places. I don't know, it'll be very interesting. So I still have things that can shoot, things that can attack. I've got units that can still do work, but I'm not holding hardly anything anymore. So there's that. So we'll be back after Drukhari turn 4 and see what we can accomplish. Okay, Drukhari turn 4 is ended. We shot with the Talos over here, killed like 3 or 4, and then Drazar made his charge and killed a bunch, and then they lost 3 to morale, so that was that. Decided I've played with this ball of fun over here before with my 10 incubi and Drazar and barely managed to win that fight with like 3 incubi left at the end. Drazar was dead, so I decided we'll ignore that. I did not take assassinate. I learned a lesson. Back here, nothing really happened. I did move the jet bike back farther, so he's kind of farther away from them. Harder to charge. They can still get in range to pistol because of that 12-inch range, but I also didn't want to lose my engage on all fronts. So this objective is hanging open. Nobody's going to hold it. And that was maybe going to be a good plan. I don't know. The Talos made their charge into the 2 characters that were here. My rack fell back. Rhymes. And then we killed one. We killed a Magos, and then the other guy survived with a wound or 2. One wounds. Okay. Over here, this wall of death and flaming goodness that destroyed my Hellions was avenged. So my Venom, I think, might have got 2 because I rolled really bad. Got 1, yeah.
And
It was awful.
Reaper just
My Reaper, though, 9 shots with the blast and just melted them. So I think I took 8 out with the Reaper. No, 7 out with the Reaper, and then there was 1 guy left, and he failed his morale.
It was 8 because it left 1 guy.
Oh, that's right. It was 8, and it left 1. Yep. The Incarn couldn't even pull off a smite, but it did do the other one. So the Ennead's Gaze, I think. Ennead's Gaze, I don't know how you say it. Did do that and then killed this last guy over here. And then the Incarn stayed alive. Again, the Incarn, she really, really did. So that's the end of that. I only scored 5 for primary because of how many things he had killed in that last turn. So now he's going to come back and turn 4. There's not a ton of stuff left for him, but he can still eliminate some of my scoring threats. So we'll see what happens. We'll be back at the end of Genestealer Cult turn 4. All right, folks. We've finished up with this turn. That was Genestealer turn 4. So over here, the Abominants made the charge and destroyed Drazar. No surprises. The Aberrants. The Abominant ran as far as he could. That's where he made it. This right here was a little bit obnoxious for poor Wesley. I survived with a wound from his flamers that got in range. He did take that objective, but, it is what it is. The Talos mulched through the Icon Bearer?
Icon Ward.
Yeah, that guy. Sorry. And that was it. So he's conceding at this point. There's not a lot left to do for him. So yeah, it was a fun game. We were talking a little bit about it afterwards. Me taking turn 1, I didn't realize how much of a benefit it was for me to have turn 1, because I felt like if anything I can screen a little. And with all his blips on the board, my whole first turn movement phase was kind of random because I didn't know what was going where. So being able to still kill as much as I did turn 1 with heavy squads being gone, heavy weapon squads, and hurting the Lehman Russ made a difference. And then I was able to screen with a few things. I screened incorrectly over here with my Incubi. Could have made them a much bigger screen and kept this whole mess from happening, and even could have stopped the deep strike in over here.
You would have stopped these guys from coming.
Yeah, it would have actually made a big difference if I'd screened better over there. And I didn't think about it till after that movement turned. I came back in the room and I was like, I screened wrong with him, and then he came in and made me pay for it. So the Incubi literally did nothing besides hold stuff off for a little while. Drazar did what he did. The M-Karn was stupid lucky.
She should be dead about 5 times over by now.
Should have died turn 2 at least, and is still there. And I didn't get to regenerate any wounds. That's the weirder thing for me. It was always on its own. No Drukhari or Eldar units died near it. So it just hung onto that one wound for the last 2 turns?
Yeah,
it was
2 turns.
2 turns, and it's been in combat. It's been shot at. It's ridiculous. And I don't know. It was a really interesting game. It was really fun. I do like this list from the one that I made. I realized I could have trimmed it down to 2 patrols instead of a battalion and a patrol, and then I would have had more command points to play with. I don't think it mattered as much in the end, not for this game at least, but that's probably something I'll do. I'll just make it 2 patrols and have some fun with it. But it was really, really strong. The Talos and Dark Technomancer, I've been so scared to take them without the 4-up invul. But the Haywire did so much better.
You don't need it. Haywire is such a good thing.
Right, and then the Homunculus just walks around keeping them T7. So they have their 3-up armor and a 5-up invul. So it just really, they were clutch, and I really like this. So this list is gonna stick around for a bit. Might tweak a little here and there, but this felt really good. Wesley's list, he's still got almost a full squad back there. He's got only a few guys left over here, but the Aberrants are still there. So it's, knowing that I needed to screen as much as I did saved my life, I think, in this. But they still killed a lot.
You did. I was really limited what I could still turn to.
Yeah. For
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't room to bring in all of your stuff turn 2, even if you wanted to, because of where things were screened out. Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting. I was really nervous end of turn 3 because he dropped a few different things and put pressure at a lot of spots on the board, and I thought there's not a chance. But the way the scoring worked too for primaries, we both went back and forth, but I was able to keep more stuff on objectives, and so I kept Wesley from scoring except for 1 turn, I think, primary. Yeah. So that was really, really big. And, if we played turn 5, I'd have gotten the 15 again, so I would have actually maxed primary, I think, or it might have been 1 shy. But it would have been close. And then the thin the ranks, there is a pile of death over here. So that, I don't know what it would have been, but I would have got some points. the first time I would have scored points off that. And if we played out turn 5, I would have been able to kill a few more of these. Probably would have killed most of those. So I don't know that there would have been much left on the table after a turn 5. So it might have actually been close to maxing within the ranks for the first time ever for me in 9th edition.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty wild. So note to self, if you win the roll-off, go first against Genestealer Cult, because otherwise you might not live to tell the tale. Yeah, it's a cool game. Thanks for playing, sir. It's a nice way to weather a wet, rainy, stormy New Year's Eve day. So, all right. Well, this has been another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. And hope you come back and check us out again in the near future. Hope you enjoyed this one. Tried to talk a little bit more about our strategies, or at least our list builds and why we built them the way we did to start the game off. And then kind of talk through some of what we were doing as we played. A little bit more tactical, I think, in theory. So, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you much for watching.